Rams Squad Show is back. I'm Gavin Carlson, and it's time for revenge in Philly.
What it do, squad? It's your boy Mike Brockers, a.k.a. Brock. And I hope the O-line and D-line been lifting because we got a heavy task this week.
My name is Doug McKain. Friends call me D-Mac, and we got the best team in the NFC playing the Eagles this week.
Whose house? Rams house. It's the Rams Squad. Everything Los Angeles Rams every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels, the way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Here comes the Rampede. The Rams Squad Show starts now.
Yes, it does. Whose house? Rams house. Whose squad? Mob Squad, baby. The Rams Squad Show is back, and we are coming off of a nice start to the Rams Squad Show. 2 wins, 2 good, fun post-game shows, but, man, get all that nice, happy stuff out of here. It's revenge time, all right? Our Rams going to Philly to play the Eagles, trying to get playoff revenge in that stadium, Lincoln Financial, where we were so close to what we all think would have been an NFC championship game that the Rams would have won. But enough about the past. It's time for the present. It's time to handle business. As always, the Mob Squad is here. Big Brock is here. Big D-Mac is here. And let's not waste any time. It's way too important this week to waste any time. I want to start right away by asking, how good are these two teams? These two 2-0 teams. Very different paths. You've got the Eagles coming off a division win to open the NFL season against the Cowboys, where they looked surprisingly bad for most of the ball game. Then you get a great win against the Chiefs, where you still maybe didn't look that great, but you handled business against the Chiefs in Kansas City. That's really hard to do. On the flip side, the Rams, they handle business in both of their games, maybe a little less successful than you'd like in week 1, but then really put the hammer on the Titans, especially in the second half, in the second game of the season. So we're going to start with Big Brock here. You got 2 2-0 teams. If you're in the Rams locker room, how good are you feeling about yourself, and how much do you fear this Eagles team based on what you've seen from them so far?
Man, I think, the biggest thing about this game is a game of 2 halves, Obviously, we've been slow starting, in the games. But in the second half, we have turned it up, man. We have made our adjustments and things like that. So if we don't allow the Eagles to do run up the score in the first half, I think we can stick it. If they allow us to stick around in the second half, we'll make our adjustments and we'll end up winning this game. So I'm super excited for this game. I hope everybody else is ready.
Oh, man. Of course we're ready. D-Mac, how good do you think these two teams are? We'll start with the Eagles for you. I know you're making fun of me in terms of who I'm going to pick. I'm interested to see who you're going to pick when it happens. You just came in with the statement on the intro and said the Rams are the best team in the NFC, so I'm sure you think the Rams 2-0 start is legit. What have you thought of the Eagles 2-0 start so far?
The 2-0 vibes are real, right? I mean, the Eagles are defending champions. They play the Chiefs, and they took care of business there. They look like a team that they feel like they can repeat. They feel like they know how to treat the regular season, the offensive line and the tush push, all that was made about that, and some of the false starts, and they're going to play their game. I think that's kind of the big thing with them. But the other thing, too, is, look, A.J. Brown hasn't gotten targeted as much. You saw Smith kind of have to come up with a big catch. It's not like they're in cruise control, top gear for them, right? I think they're still trying to figure some things out. I think the Rams, they are looking at this as a nice early test, not only because of the opponent, because of the offense that they have. Devonta Adams had his best game as a Ram. Puka Nacua has played incredible. You had the running backs, Corum and Kyron, both be very productive. Question is this offensive line against the pass rush of the Eagles. I think that's kind of the number one thing I'm looking at. But how good is this Eagles team? They can beat anyone. I mean, they're in that top level, top tier, short list of Super Bowl contenders that they got the talent to win. They have the depth, and it's in Philly. So I like the fact that this is the test. Obviously you like a home game, right? But I like the fact you're going back to the scene of the crime, right? I like that you're going back to the division round, because I think this is a win where if the Eagles lose it, it's like, okay, we're defending Super Bowl champs. We just beat the Chiefs. If the Rams win this game, though, I think they have a lot to take away as far as confidence and just momentum for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And certainly, we're throughout this show going to be breaking down all the key aspects that are going to determine the winner
Well, I
of
don't like
this
the
game.
ratio of my I don't like the ratio of my head to your guys' heads. You know what I'm saying? Like I got like a size 9 New Era fitted here. Like what's happening? I got one of those big hats, but it's actually a normal hat here. Like,
Hey,
come on, man.
you're just showing
gotta
off the
move back.
Dodgers hat. That's all you're doing, I guess.
No,
There you go.
This
There you
is
go.
embarrassing here. There we go.
No, it's cooking. It's
I
cooking.
interrupted. Yeah.
No, you're not. You're good. You're good. D-Mac is in the building and he's putting in work. He's on site and he's still here. So we appreciate that. But in terms of this show, we're going to be talking about everything that's going to make the difference in this ball game, how much this ball game means, and you know what a 3-0 start would mean for the Rams, especially. But yeah, I do think it is fun to, not fun, also important to kind of look back a little bit more in terms of what the Rams have experienced so far this season, because I feel like we are in this little Rams bubble, right? We're Rams fans. We're also 3 Rams. I mean, I don't think you're going to talk to many Rams fans who aren't excited and optimistic about the season, but we are 3 Rams fans who are very bullish on this Rams team. But then I don't know about you guys. When I listen to some of the national media, especially some of these, analytics videos, some of these betting videos, and they talk about the Rams, they're like, this is an underwhelming team. They were losing late into the second half against Tennessee. Week 1 wasn't very impressive either in a game that, obviously the Texans are 0-2 now. So, what does a week 1 win even mean? I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think of sort of the reception on the Rams so far, because let's not deny it. The Rams were losing to the Tennessee Titans in the second half. That's not what the number 1 team in the NFC, D-Mac, is supposed to do, right? They're supposed to handle business. And these other elite teams in the league so far have been. The Bills put it on in the week 2, right? The Lions absolutely embarrassed the Bears, right? I'm blanking on the other teams that have had blowout wins. Baltimore had a blowout win, right? It feels like a lot of teams are having statement wins, and the Rams maybe haven't had it so far until the fourth quarter against the Titans. D-Mac, what say you as the one who says this is the number 1 team? What is your thoughts on those critics who might say the Rams aren't that good, bro?
I mean, I think that they haven't played these big nationally televised games. They haven't played on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. They haven't played the big brand names that are expected to be contenders. They've taken care of business. I think the Texans, they have potential. We saw them against the Bucs. They already dropped one. The Titans, you're working a rookie quarterback in Tennessee. So those are games where you would only really talk about them nationally if the Rams got beat or the Rams got blown out or Devontae Adams didn't look like he had it in the second game or anything like that. But the truth is, hey, it's the NFL. Brock knows. I mean, the worst team can hang with the best team for a couple quarters. Like, that's how talented this league is. I look at the fact that final 30 minutes of that game, they outscored that team 23-6. So, and look, they had some flashes there, but I do think as far as the perception, that's why it's a golden opportunity for the Rams. That's why this week means a lot to them, not only because you're facing the team that beat you last year, just because of, hey, like if the Rams go into Philly and take care of business, they're going to be the sexy pick all of a sudden. And it's going to go from, hey, no one was talking about the Rams to, no, everyone's jumping on that Rams bandwagon. So I know I'm the conductor of the bandwagon. I know you guys are on it, but hey, we're going to run out of some seats if they go into Philly and they do what we think they're going to do.
I love it. I love it. You definitely are. I feel like
I should have put words in your mouth because I know Gavin, I know the pick, but so we'll see.
See, that's what I was going to say. I feel like this is solely this, I don't want to say narrative because it's not a narrative, but sort of something's being built on this show of like D-Mac is probably the most bullish on the Rams. And I feel like I'm creating this scenario. I don't even know if it's intentional or anything. I think I'm just trying to, be devil's advocate, but certainly I guess I'm gaining the reputation on being the most, the biggest doubter, I guess, of the Rams. I'm curious, Brock. We always like, hey, Brock, put us in your shoes as a former player, But no, just Michael Brockers in 2025, looking at this Rams team. Where are you? I'm curious. Do you think this is a 2-0 team that is, like D-Mac is saying, one of, if not the best team in the NFC? Or are you maybe closer to my side that hasn't fully seen it yet?
I think I'm a little bit with you. I just haven't fully seen it yet, and I just think they just haven't fully put it together yet. I mean, I think you're as good as your opponent, and I think you see a team on your schedule, and you're like, okay, we don't want to show as much and things like that. But when we go against an opponent that brings that out of us, that has us, down, maybe down 14, and we got to show like all our new schemes and things like that on offense. I think, going against the Eagles will help, the Rams. I think it would help the Rams. I think it'll help, Devontae and Puka and them really showcase themselves because they're going against a big-time opponent. They're going against the ex-champs. They're going against a team that they feel like they should have beat in Philly last year. So I feel like going again into Philly this week, I think a lot of guys have it on their mind this week. Like, yeah, this is a revenge game, like you said earlier, Gavin. This is a revenge game. We're gonna show ourselves, and we're gonna be the team everybody thought we should be. So, and for me, man, I don't think you should peak too early. So it's only third game of the season. True. We have a long season ahead of us. But if the Rams can go out here and get this win, man, it'll definitely build some momentum going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Brock that question. I was like, you're not about peaking too early. It's like you can't win the Super Bowl this Sunday. How important is it, even considering the history, considering kind of using this as a measuring stick game, that you don't make too much of this game because of the opponent?
Oh, for sure. But I mean, like I said earlier in the show, man, I would be lifting. I would have started lifting right after the game, because I know how big this offensive line is. I know how big this D-line is, and I know I don't want to get dominated this game. So for me, man, I would have been lifting directly after the Titans game, pumping iron, just kind of mentally getting myself ready and prepared for this game because I know it's going to be it's going to be a dog fight, and it's won in the trenches. So we have to stop Saquon. We can't allow this pass rush to get to Matthew Stafford. So for me, man, I think it's going to be won and lost in the trenches this game.
And that's why this is a fun matchup. I really think it is. I mean, obviously, there are all the reasons we keep going on and on about, rightfully so, about it being a revenge game, a rematch of the playoffs, 2-2-0 teams. But it's also 2-0 teams that kind of both people think are really elite, but at the same time, maybe we don't know what they are yet in week 3, right? And week 3 is a unique week in the NFL where week 1, everyone watches it and they react and people overreact. But then everyone says, okay, let's not overreact. Let's see what happens in week 2, right? Then week 2 happens. And when we get to week 3, everyone acts like they know everything about every team in the NFL now. Like, they're like, okay, we know that, the Dolphins are the worst team in football. We know that the Colts are legit because they've done it 2 weeks in a row. Like, the Niners they're doing it with backups. They're legit. Blah, 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 blah. It's still just been 2 weeks. We still don't know a lot about both of these teams. And that's why it's fun is there's certainly a scenario where DMAC is absolutely right. And the Rams were a couple plays from beating the Super Bowl champs last year. And, they added Devontae Adams. And, all of their young defensive stars got one more year of experience. And wait, maybe the Rams actually are the best team in the NFC. But there's also a scenario where the Eagles are still the defending champs and they're still the best, right? We really don't know. And I don't want us to overreact too much to what happens. It's going to be hard not to with how big this game is. But it is kind of funny that week 3, the NFL now is loading all these big matchups in the first couple of weeks, and it's smart and it gets everyone excited. But it also does cause these overreactions where we think we know everything about these teams after just a few games. We still won't know everything about these two teams after this game, but there's a huge range in terms of how elite these teams actually are. I mean, DMAC, you were watching that Eagles Chiefs game. I know you were, and like we were saying, I mean, you got Chris Jones after the game or right when the game ends talking crud to Jalen Hurts about how bad his game was. And Jalen Hurts says, shut up, we won. Like, it wasn't that, impressive of a win for the Eagles, but they beat the Chiefs. Like, sure. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, like usually last year, the Eagles looked like they totally outclassed the Rams in the regular season. They beat them 37-20.
Right.
It looked like after that game that the Rams weren't going to be able to compete with the better teams in the NFC. And then by the end of the season, the Rams go into Philly and they're one drive away from hosting the NFC title game.
Right.
As far as what happened last week in KC, look, I mean, it's early season football as far as like what it says about the Eagles. I mean, just look at their receivers production right now. I mean, Puka Nacua has more receiving yards than the entire receiving core of the Eagles right now. 221 to 167. Like, I mean, there's things that are going well for the Rams that I think they're further along than the Eagles and vice versa. I mean, Brock mentioned the trenches. Offensive line has not been great for the Rams so far. And a lot of it has to do with the injuries, kind of lack of continuity. But they were getting pushed off the ball against Tennessee We know what Philly's capable of. And look at the play last year that really cost the Rams. It was Jalen Carter getting past Bo Limmer, forcing that quick throw. The Rams went and got Coleman Shelton, and then things got a little different as far as the offensive line rotation. So that's the number one thing is like, how do you stack up with this team? And does it go from getting blown out last year in the regular season to almost winning in the playoffs to beat him in the regular season? Like, you just want to see progress against this group. It's really hard to repeat if you're Philly. I think they will look at the Rams as like, hey, let's send a message to the Rams saying, hey, we're still that team in this conference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and again, I say it every show, and it's a good sign. You always read my mind. I was going to segue into the next segment of saying, hey, we know how this game ended. The big question is, can the Rams offense get revenge? And you already did it. You already did it. D-Mac, the legend that he is.
Brock said it, man. Stop Saquon. Like, stop Saquon. Like,
true. Yeah.
Can a dude go 2,000 yards in 2 straight years? I mean,
there's a lot of different factors that are going to make this game so fun. It's a few days away, and it feels like it's in 5 minutes. Like, I just want it to be there. I want it to happen. But we have plenty more to talk about with this game. We're going to take our first break, and when we come back, can this Rams offense get revenge after what happened, especially in that fourth quarter of the playoff game? Can the Rams stop Saquon? How's the secondary going to look against A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith after the Ahkello Witherspoon injury? We'll talk about all of that after our first break here on this midweek edition of the Locked On Rams Squad Show. We'll be right back. Now, on this midweek edition of the Locked On Rams Squad Show, the show is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Look, caffeine just got a major flavor upgrade. 5 Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. And look, what I love most is how portable they are. It's big taste in a tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it. Like for me, I go to the gym in the morning and I'm driving to San Francisco now to lift in San Francisco from where I live, or I'm taking the train. Either way, I don't got time or space to go get a coffee, to go make a pre-workout shake. Man, I just need a nice little tiny 5 Hour Energy shot. I take it, I go into the gym, and I kill the workout because of how quick, easy, and effective 5 Hour Energy is. So look, enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. Back here on the Mob Squad Rams Squad Show. We're talking, of course, all things Rams Eagles ahead of the playoff rematch. Man, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Titans. Obviously, I have the rundown on the screen there and how legit are these 2-0 teams, but we're chomping at the bit. Let's just talk about this darn game. My question now for segment 2 is, we saw how the playoff game ended. I feel like I don't need to remind Rams fans. But in case you forgot, the Rams fumbled twice in the fourth quarter. They did have an amazing 10-play, 70-yard touchdown drive that cut a 28-15 lead, But we know how the game ended as well, with the Rams having the turnover on downs, Jalen Carter ramming through no pun intended, ramming through the offensive line and ending the Rams' season. So my question is, this Rams offense, getting revenge, all of that, can they do it? Can they do it? There's people that are going to question what they've seen so far this season. There's people that are questioning how that playoff game was, and hey, the Rams had this big deficit and all of that. Was it even that legit, their comeback and everything? What say you, D-Mac? Is this Rams offense with Davante Adams, even though maybe the connections haven't been there all the time so far, can they get revenge? And if so, what's going to be the difference?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at this Eagles defense early on, the secondary has pretty much underperformed. They're also allowing running backs to run on them. They are allowing the 8th most yards per carry. They're ranked 29th in yards per game as far as kind of what they do on their side. So really, I think as far as where the Rams offense is, they're in a great spot. I mean, last week, just rewatching that game is so fun to watch. Devonta Adams, a guy that can beat man, and then watch Puka Nacua, a guy that can just have those feel for the zones and get those quick in-breaking first downs and then do stuff stretch as well. I mean, I think this Rams team really is in a good position to go out there and score some points. And I also look at the fact that you're not having to play in the snow. Like it's good conditions. I think it's a passing offense that still has a rusty-ish Matthew Stafford. And it'll be interesting to see like what his numbers look like in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks after that interception against the Titans. I almost think that was a little bit of a smelling salt kind of wake-up call to his 2025 season because he knows how good he is. And he looks re-energized out there because of Devontae Adams. I mean, this guy looks like a kid at a candy store because of just playing with someone that, let's be honest, I mean, you look at last year, and there's no slide to Cooper Kupp. Like, the further we get removed from Cooper Kupp last year and Devontae Adams this year with the growth of Puka Nacua, it's like, I mean, there's really not a lot of receiver combos out there that can hang with these guys. And you see it early on, and now Blake Corum, Kyron Williams, you saw, I mean, Davis Allen is becoming a version of Chris Carter, right? All he does is catch touchdowns. 2 catches on the year, both touchdowns. So the only question is the offensive line, and I think that's kind of the big difference for this team. When you just kind of look at the big differences between this year's Rams versus last year's Rams, there are some differences, and one of them is no Bo Limmer and in Coleman Shelton, just kind of how to deal with that. But they had some guys banged up, right? Steve Avila, but Alec Jackson played very well last week. I think it's a big test for them. And as long as Matthew Stafford is not getting pressured all afternoon and is staying vertical, I really like their chances to score points against the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. The Cooper Kupp shots are becoming a regular thing.
I don't like how Cooper Kupp catches strays, bro. Like, I got his jersey in my closet, bro. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I feel dirty doing it. You know what I mean? But, man, Devontae, I've already moved on, man. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
I get it. I mean, and that emphasizes how big of an addition this is in the offseason, right? Of, man, everyone here loves Cooper Kupp. And in order to emphasize how much of an upgrade it is, you have to have a stray at Cooper Kupp because it's that much of an upgrade, right? You look at the game, the playoff game, right? Just kind of looking at the box score, trying to remember what happened. A really interesting thing. Puka had a great game, 6 for 97, but 6 on 14 targets, right? If he catches 8 or 9 of those 14, right? The Rams don't just have 22 points. They don't fall behind, 28-15. They maybe even Puka catches a game-winning touchdown if there's not a sack on third down on that last drive of the season, right? But 6 of 14 for Puka, it's not going to be that low, right? Cooper Kupp only 5 for 61. We know Devontae is going to do more than that, right? We don't have DeMarcus Robinson, of course, but we have other options in the receiving game. I think we're going to see a better balance in the run game. I mean, no one other than Kyron Williams and Matthew Stafford had a carry in that playoff game against the Eagles. You expect Corum to get a couple, like we're saying. So certainly the offense feels stronger. Like you said, it's not snowing. Certainly going to expect a better offensive performance. And like you said, this Eagles defense does not look like as elite as it was last season. My question for Big Brock is this run game for the Rams. We're going to talk about the Eagles run game. I know you want to talk about Saquon Barkley, but this Rams run game, we talked Kyron and Blake Corum last week. It comes down to the trenches, right? It comes down to where you got your money, where you became a legend for this Rams team, right? And my question is, what makes this Eagles D-line, this front seven, so good? What makes Jalen Carter so good? Is it the athleticism? Is it the fact that the whole D-line is so good that you can't focus on one guy? And how is this offensive line going to try to attack this amazing Eagles front seven?
How I would attack this Eagles front seven is make them run side to side. Give them, like I was saying last week. You kind of hit on something with Blake Corum. He was running those wide zone plays and wide stretch plays, and you see the Rams hit on those plays for big yardage. For me, and I seen last week when you run right down the middle of Jalen Carter and some of those big defensive tackles, you can't move them. They are big human beings and they're very strong. So I see us running sideways, getting lateral, running our wide zone scheme, getting around them, really cutting them off. Don't try to overpower these guys. Just cut them off, get some of those gaps created, and just let your running backs find those seams and get and hit them. I don't see us really having a run game where we're running down the A and B gap, running power plays or dive plays or anything. Let's get wide. Let's run them side to side, because I even seen a couple of hits on just Jalen Carter from last week's game. People talking about him being lazy because he doesn't run as much, and he's out of shape and things like that. So let's get these guys tired. I'm talking about running screens, bubble screens, things that make this D line have to run up and down the field or run side to side and chase the ball and things. Get them tired, and then wear on them in the second half.
Yeah, no, I mean, I certainly like that game plan, especially with how I had people ripping on me in the comments saying, Gavin, you're an idiot. You're way too pro Blake Corum. You're way too critical of Kyren Williams. Look, I'm just saying that Corum gives us something that Kyren doesn't. I'm not saying that Kyren doesn't give us something that Blake Corum doesn't give us either. I understand that. But, I mean, maybe this becomes our David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Maybe this becomes that fire and ice or whatever they want to call it in the backfield. But I certainly – it makes sense to me. I'm curious. And D-Mac, you talked about Davis Allen, the questions on if we're going to see some Terrence Ferguson in this ball game, if we're going to see some Tyler Higbee in this ball game. You think this is going to be a 12 personnel game where you get down and dirty and try to match that strength of the Eagles, or do you think this is an 11 personnel, spread them out, put guys in motion, and try to beat them that way?
They have had a tough time stopping the run early on, but I think that McVay is still kind of easing his way into the 12 personnel. You saw Terrence Ferguson get some burn on special teams, made a nice play. Higbee had his first catch of the season at a 20-yarder. I think you're going to see them work that part of the game in, but there's a lot of mouths to feed in the receiving core, so they're going to be featuring Devontae and Puka more. I mean, as good as Devontae played, he didn't play his best as far as overall efficiency. I think he probably had a B version of a Devontae Adams game. I think the A is still in there, and I think that you're going to see that. And I think that, like I said, the run game for the Rams with maybe a little bit more of an explosive element for Blake Corum. Blake Corum had two 15-yard runs. The Rams hadn't had a explosive run of 15 yards or more in the first 7 quarters of the season. So I'm very curious to see how those snaps line up between Corum and Kyren, because I think that you're going to see him almost manage this game in a way where you feel out this Eagles defense, but you kind of see what has continued to work for this Rams team. And I think that that's kind of where they're going to lie. As far as the Saquon element that you guys are talking about, I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous how productive he was against this team. Like week 12, 255 yards on 26 carries, 9.8 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. In the division round, 205 yards on 26 carries, 2 touchdowns. Like those were like insane. Those are like career games for most running backs, like all-time career games for a lot of running backs. And he had that twice against his team in the same season. So 2 things I'm looking at is Poona Ford being the upgrade to Bobby Brown III. And also, don't forget, too, a healthy Braden Fisk. Braden Fisk only played 3 snaps because he left the game with a knee injury, the emergence of Byron Young. And also, I don't want to jinx us. But I'm going to jinx us. Okay? The Rams are one of 6 teams that still hasn't allowed a rushing touchdown this season. One of 6 teams. Will that continue? If they're one of how many of your teams after this game, I think that we're having a victory Sunday party. So, I definitely just jinxed us, didn't I?
I hope not. Yeah. I sure hope not. I sure hope not. I think it's interesting too. Just like even going back to the Rams offense, a lot of it is going to be dictated on game script, on how much you can handle a Saquon, a Jalen Hurts on the ground. I think this whole game kind of comes down to game script, because while we saw the Eagles play closer game than we thought we would see them play against the Cowboys, and obviously the Chiefs game, of course, is close. We haven't seen a game where the Eagles have gone behind and have had to rely on the pass game exclusively. And so going back to the Rams offense, we've kind of seen the Rams not be behind anything crazy, but they did kind of have to flip a switch in the second half and be a little more aggressive against the Titans. Game script is going to influence this game in terms of how much these teams rely on the run, how much they rely on the pass. I still think that the Rams are the best. I think you all agree. I think every NFL team is. I do kind of hate when people say that. I think this NFL team is the best when they can establish the run game first. I mean, no duh, right? Like every team is a lot better at passing if they can fake the handoff when the linebackers have to jump to the line of scrimmage. But I think especially this Rams team, when they want to hit Puka across the middle, when they want to hit Devontae Adams across the middle or down the sideline in single coverage, like the run game is going to decide things. And if the Rams are down, they don't really have an opportunity to establish that run game. Now, D-Mac, we're going to get to the Saquon aspect a little bit more after our break here, because you're exactly right in terms of Braden Fisk. He didn't get to play that game. But you're exactly right in terms of Saquon Barkley, absolutely putting up Madden numbers against us. So we'll talk about that after our break here on this midweek edition of the Ram Squad Show. We'll be right back. Now, today's show is also brought to you by the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people at my favorite place. I maybe spent a little bit too much time on this app. It is PrizePicks. If you somehow don't know what PrizePicks is at this point, man, you might be living under a rock, okay? Because PrizePicks, it's the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right means cashing in. With football back, PrizePicks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. What I love, how quick and easy it is, and how much more fun watching football becomes, right? We all know why fantasy is great, because now you've got guys to root for. And it's the same thing with PrizePicks. But, oh, by the way, there is real money on the line. I also love with PrizePicks, they give you a discount. For example, this week, the discounts include Patrick Mahomes over half a passing yard. Basically, if Patrick Mahomes steps on the field and plays a snap or two, your bet hits, or at least that part of it does. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Amen, it is. Back here on the Ram Squad Show, the Mob Squad is back. My brightness is suddenly down. I'm looking like I'm fading into the abyss. I promise I'm not. We're going to get that fixed very, very shortly. But before we do, let's talk about this run game for the Eagles. D-Mac, he jumped the gun. He was ready to talk about Saquon Barkley, man, and understandably so. He put up some of the best running game performances we've ever seen. That Sunday night game, it still gives me, the playoff game gives me flashbacks and chills, and I wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night thinking about the playoff game. But that Sunday night game, it's hard not to remember Mike Tirico. There goes Saquon, right? And him running down the SoFi Stadium field for these big runs of 60-plus yards, the home run ability, right, of a Saquon. It's unlike anyone else in the NFL. I know he say that Bijan Robinson's up next. I know there's people that say Derrick Henry has had a better career, but in terms of the home run ability, there's no one like Saquon. Big Brock, my question for you, as someone whose job was to stop a lot of running backs like Saquon in your whole career, do you change the approach? Does the defense change the approach when you're facing a home run hitter like Saquon is, right? Like, I know that they tell the safeties to take better angles and be a little bit more disciplined, but when you're a guy in the middle of the line, is there really anything you can do to adjust to a home run hitter like Saquon versus maybe a Le'Veon Bell or someone who's patient and is going to try to get 8 yards, maybe even a Kyron Williams? Like, what does a D lineman do against a home run hitter like him?
Man, you have to be gap sound. I think that was the biggest thing for me, is watching film before the game, making sure that, everybody is gap sound. I mean, you want to kind of build a wall. You want to make sure if you have the A gap, stay in the A gap. Don't try to go outside your game, make a play, be in a B gap or cross space. That, be in the gap that you're supposed to be. Play the defense that you're supposed to play. Don't try to be the hero. A lot of guys get out there and they try to make a play and be the guy who name gets called. But right, man, this is a team defense, man. When you go out there, you want to make sure you're doing your job. If everybody does their job and also wrap up, make tackles, get the guy on the ground, in a guy like this, you got to gang tackle this guy. So right, you want all hats to the ball. So if you're focusing on everybody do your job, stay in your gap, and then also, man, everybody get to the ball. Man, I think you just play sound defense. Nobody try to play outside their game or try to make a tremendous play. Man, play the defense like it's supposed to be played, and we'll handle whatever else happens. They get paid too. That's what the saying is in the room when the guy makes a tremendous play or anything like that. Like, that guy gets paid too to do what he has to do. So we just have to make sure we control what we can control, and we'll see what happens at the end of the game.
Yeah, and I'm curious, D-Mac, as someone, you have been very early on the Puna Ford train as well of saying he's going to make a big difference for this run defense. You brought up the great point of Braden Fisk obviously being out for that playoff game. I'm curious, from what we've seen so far, you talked about not giving up a touchdown, and I understand that is great. You held Tony Pollard to 20 for 92. I feel like that's pretty respectable, right? Like around, 4.5 a carry. The Texans one is a little interesting because that run game, based on what we saw in that game against the Bucs in week 2, where they couldn't do anything until Nick Chubb broke that long touchdown. It's hard to, know if that's just the Texans run game being awful, but obviously the Rams run defense has been good. I don't want you to predict the game yet, right? We're going to have our predictions in terms of the final score and what makes the difference, but look into that DMAC crystal ball of yours. Do you think Apuna Ford and a healthy Braden Fisk is enough to limit this Saquon Barkley-led rushing attack?
I mean, I look at this, though. I mean, as much as is a key, and absolutely is a key, the thing about the Eagles is what happened in the Super Bowl? He was held to, 57 yards, and they still won 40-22, something like that. So the thing that makes the Eagles so dangerous is even if you can slow down Saquon Barkley, you can still potentially lose to this team. But I think you got to trust Chris Shula. I mean, whether it be loading the box, I mean, you still have to tackle. You got to wrap up. You just have to not have him run through arm tackles and get to the second and third level. And he's going to gash you. He's going to get some plays for sure. There's no doubt about it. But I think can the secondary hold it down if they are loading the box, if they're focused on him a little more? And that's where it kind of trickles down to, okay, how does Emmanuel Forbes play matching up without Akella Witherspoon in there, right? So I think all this goes down to just the center.
Oh, we lost Brock a little bit. That's expected. The man's holding it down from Dodger Stadium. I mean, it's hard for him to last this whole time. He's been lasting longer than I thought, to be honest. The question is kind of it's a fitting kind of metaphor, I guess you could say. It's kind of how the Rams defense might have to approach this run game, right? Brock's laughing. I could tell he's laughing if he tried to segue this, but I thought I did a decent job. This run game for the Eagles and this run defense for the Rams, it's kind of a bend but don't break, right? Like D-Mac's Wi-Fi was bending and didn't break, right? But then the question is, boom, is there that home run that's going to break this run defense? I don't know if there's anything that a team can do to stop that. If D-Mac is back, I'm curious, is there anything? Is it like your Wi-Fi, D-Mac? Is it going to bend and break this Rams defense, or are they going to stay solid for 4 quarters?
I had that Spirit Airlines Wi-Fi in the air, like the cheap one you can get. You know what I mean? Like that's what I had right there. So I had to get back in the mix. But yeah, I was saying, I mean, you have to just trust the new guys on this team to make plays too. I'm curious to see how Nate Landman looks. I'm curious to see how some of these other new additions fare. But yeah, I mean, any good team is going to have a superstar that can lead you. But I think the key to this game is you can live with like 100 to 150 yards from Saquon. It's just avoiding a 78-yard touchdown, a 62-yard touchdown, and trying to continue this trend where A.J. Brown has not exploded yet. And if A.J. Brown is reading books on the sideline in the fourth quarter, probably a good sign for the Rams, right? If Devontae Smith is the main target, probably a good sign for the Rams, right? So there's that. And look, I'm not going to lie. Like I already don't like the tush push. I've literally been looking forward to the show all day because I want Brock's thoughts on the tush push. But if they're getting like multiple tush push touchdowns where they're getting a rolling head start, it's going to be maddening to me because I think it's really interesting leading up to this one how Sean McVay has already kind of mentioned it a little bit. And if he mentions it, he's a guy that has some equity in this league. So I'm curious to see how they're going to officiate that coming off of last week and how that impacts the Rams. It's already, I don't know. Brock, the floor is yours on the tush push. I got to hear it.
Bro, like I would hate going against the tush push. You know, it's definitely a rugby scrawl, and he seems to always go to the same side. If you notice, he always goes to the guy who played rugby and knows how to put, you know, how this whole scrum thing is worked. You know, he always goes to Malata's side. You know, every tush push, he gets the ball and he goes to his left would be his left. You know, and Malata always. He knows he jumps the ball. Like if you slow down, if you get a camera and you look down that line of scrimmage on the tush push, he's the first one that moves. You know, it's him first, then the ball. You know, so the tush push, it's not like I'm complaining about the tush push or, I want it banned out the league. Just don't let them get in that situation. I mean, I think they that's the biggest thing is like, don't allow them to get in a situation where they can use that play. If you don't allow them to use that, get in a situation to use that play, then they won't use it. They only use it in very short yardage, on the goal line, maybe 4th and 1 or something like that. That's the only time they use that play. But other than that, man, you can't really do anything about it, man, because other people try to run that play and they can't do it as well as them because they don't have a guy that played rugby his whole life that knows how the scrum works, knows how to run its feet and crawl and do things like that, Right. So for me, man, it's all about the players, man. It's the players first. So they have a big 6'8" tackle that knows how to play rugby, and they use them to their advantage. So I definitely dislike the play, but don't allow them to get in that situation. We won't have to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny because the whole thing was, first, this play seems illegal. It doesn't seem fair. Then there was like this narrative shift to maybe you saw a few other teams try it and struggle. And then it was, it's not the play. It's the Eagles. They've got a quarterback who can squat 1 billion pounds. They've got Jason Kelce, who the NFL is pushing to be like Tom Brady level of famous for some reason, which is a whole nother thing. I mean, guy's sexiest man of the year, Jason Kelce. I don't know what's going on there, but like, it became this, hey, the Eagles are just good at this, so we got to shut up and let it be a thing. And I was pretty okay with admitting that the Eagles were good at it. But then that thing happened last week, and it's like, come on, bro. Like, this isn't even football. It's literally breaking multiple rules. It's not just him getting the head start. But there's people pointing out the fact that all 5 offensive linemen are technically a little bit offsides every time they run it. There's people pointing out, like, wait a second, it's not even technically a fully legal formation, right? So then it's like, we need to talk about it a little bit more. I'm curious for you, Brock, though, and you might be biased because you're an interior lineman. And D-Mac, I'm curious your thoughts, too. What's more infuriating, seeing the interior lineman jump early on the tush push, or what always makes me want to pull my brains out is when the left and right tackle jump a half second early on every snap, and before the D lineman, the edge rusher can even start, the left tackle's already 5 yards back in the backfield. And I'm not talking about the Eagles with this. This is everyone. I think they say the Chiefs get away with this more than anyone else. But you know what I mean? When the tackle jumps back like a half second before the snap, it's like, how are you supposed to get an advantage there? Big Brock, I'll ask you first as the player. What's more infuriating?
I mean, both, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. I got a little bit on both, bro. Especially with the tush push thing, right? Like, they have been lining up off the ball this whole game, whatever they're running, running plays, passing plays, they line up off the ball so they can pull or whatever. And now all of a sudden on this one play, everybody's head is almost over the ball. Like, come on, I think that's kind of BS. Also, when it comes to the tackles jumping, they're always a yard off to 2 yards off the ball. They say, your helmet has to break the guard's plane. So you got guys leaning all forward, but he's 3 yards in the backfield and he jumps off the ball. Like, I hate it all, to be honest with you, man. Your offensive linemen cheat, to save their lives. And, I don't know, man. Being a D lineman, it's a hard life for the offensive linemen. So they got to get every advantage they can to make plays and do what they got to do. But, yeah, man, I think both of them suck. I think offensive linemen cheat. They hold every play. Like, it's a lot I could say about the O-line, but we don't have enough time. So I'm going to just stop it right there.
I love it. D-Mac, what about you?
You replace that Rams hat with a chef's hat. Brock's cooking right now. If you smell that Brock is cooking on the tush push right now. But yeah, honestly, for me, hey, I'm like Kendrick Lamar. I'm the biggest hater, right? I hate the way that you walk that way. I hate everything about it. Like I literally this is the thing I hate most about it. And I'll tell you what it is. First of all, since 2022, they've ran it 116 times and they've converted 96.6% of the times when they've ran it, right? And the thing I hate about it is this. Why don't you do it? Why doesn't your team do it? It's legal. Everyone should do it, right? Really? Like every team has a quarterback that can squat 6,000 pounds and has the best offensive line in football. Like, not every team can do it. Not every team is going to put their quarterback in that position. It's unique. And as Brock pointed out, the personnel is why they're able to do it, the rugby background. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's if you're going to allow this, which it doesn't feel like a football play, like Brock said, it feels like a rugby play. At the very least, you have to get the offsides correct on it, or it just makes no sense. It really doesn't. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. Like, if we were all Eagles fans right now, like, how would we feel? Like, it just does. It feels like they got the ABACABB cheat code and no one can figure it out. You know, I hate it. Like, I really do. I really do. I cannot stand it. I hate it.
I love it. I love it.
It should be banned in all 50 states.
I love it. I love it. That's how you know this is revenge week, right? It started of hey, what's the run game going to look like? And suddenly it's 10 minutes on why the Eagles are corrupt. I love it. 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 We're going to take our last break. When we come back, it's time to make those darn predictions. What are the Rams going to do in what is certainly, right so far the biggest game of the Rams season, but might be you might look back in week 17 and go, this is the biggest game of the Rams season. So I'm curious to hear what D-Mac and Brock have. I know they're curious what I have as someone who has a reputation suddenly of being the Rams hater in the building, but we'll talk about that. We do have to talk a little bit about the DBs as well, going up against these receivers with the Eagles with the Ahkello Witherspoon injury. But D-Mac's got something to say first.
I want to know how much you have on the Eagles, like how much money, like how many bags I mean, I know you probably like a couple racks on them. I mean, like it's got to be a lot, right? Like,
come on now, this is crazy. The narrative is being pushed. It's crazy. It's crazy. We'll see. I'll let you know how many I have after our last break here on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. Now, finally, today's show is brought to you by Mazda. Look, Mazda, it crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. I don't know about you, but when it comes to a car, like, it's more than just driving, right? It's about confidence. And Mazda delivers confidence with every ride because of, how the car looks, how it feels. But, oh, by the way, it's also an IIHS top safety pick plus, with awards more than anyone else. It has more awards with IIHS than anyone else. From footwork to breath work, look, athletes, they sweat all the details, and Mazda does the same. It brings the same intention onto how they craft every single model. You can feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to the Napa leather upholstery. And you can make everyday drives feel like anything but, with smooth handling and intuitive controls. All-wheel drive, the crossovers, the SUVs have the all-wheel drive, and that sport mode on that Mazda 3, man, it's elite. So, like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Mob Squad, Ram Squad show. Gavin's a hater show, apparently. How much money does D-Mac have on the Rams to win the Super Bowl show? Big Brock becoming a politician so that he can outlaw offensive linemen in general show here. We're back. Ram Squad show. It's time to make those predictions. It's time to talk about who is going to win this epic game. Before we do, one last thing we have to talk about. The injury to Ahkello Witherspoon against A.J. Brown, against Devontae Smith, against the passing game that has struggled. You could say maybe they haven't had to be good yet. D-Mac, real quick, I'm curious, how do you think these DBs hold up against this elite wide receiver core? And like you're saying, this passing offense that might have A.J. Brown reading a book. Which one is it going to be?
It's going to be a really tough test. It's tough to say it without seeing a full game of Darius Williams and Emmanuel Forbes and Kobe Durant. I think the talent's certainly there, but I think that you're kind of catching A.J. Brown at a bad time where he's been bottled up and hasn't had the type of production that he's hoped to have this year. So it could be a breakout game for him for sure. But I do think that you can take advantage of that by torching Adoree Jackson on the other end, right? With Devontae and Puka Nacua. So I think the Rams have to score points to win this game. I mean, I'm not just saying 20 points. I think they really have to find a way to get the passing offense going, to control the run game. And I think as far as neutralizing those guys, the talent's there, but you kind of have to, I think you got to get pressure too, to try to not put them in those tough situations. So I think it's going to come down to, could we have Jared Verse have his best game of the season? Can Byron Young continue on what he's done through the first two games? Big game from Fisk. hopefully Poona Ford makes his money in this game and shows why the Rams went out and got him as a run stopper. So I think you're looking for a lot of guys that have big games to help make life easier for the corners going up against an A.J. Brown that's starving to have a big game.
Yeah, and I wonder, it's squeaky wheel gets the grease. Is that going to help the Rams, right? Are the Eagles going to try to force feed A.J. Brown because of the issues? And if they do, I mean, force feeding one of the best receivers in the NFL, it can work out pretty well. But at the same time, you're taking the ball out of Saquon Barkley's hand. You're forcing a passer in Jalen Hurts who is good, but not maybe the best, to suddenly force it into tight windows, right? And so maybe that gives the Rams an advantage that they wouldn't have if the Eagles were just playing straight up Eagles football. But now let's get into these predictions. We're going to start with Big Brock. Just to review, we're both all three of us are 2-0. We all picked the Rams to win both games, and they won them. I believe against the spread. I haven't done my homework yet, I'll be honest, but I believe we're all 2-0 against the spread as well. So we've been perfect. We've been spot on with our Rams. In case you don't know, I believe it's Eagles minus 3.5 on Sunday. We'll start with Big Brock. Who wins, why, and by how much?
All right, man. So I'm obviously, this is a Rams show, so I'm obviously leaning on my Rams to get the job done. But this is how they get it done.
Oh,
they're gonna be down at halftime, right? Okay. They're gonna be down at halftime, 14-10 at halftime. Wow. Eagles are going to go up, and then the second half, Rams are gonna come out that tunnel with the adjustment, with the coaching staff, and then they're gonna go up 24-17 on the Eagles. It's going to be a tough game, but I think they get the job done in the second half. Obviously, like they've been doing these last two games, they allow the opponent to be up going into halftime, and then they make the adjustments, and they come out, and they get the job done. So I'm going 24-17 Rams in Philly winning the game.
I love it. I love it. He set the whole scene, not just how they're going to win, not just what the score is going to be. He gave us the halftime score. Not even that they're going to be down. He gave us the halftime score. I love it. D-Mac, top that.
It's tough to top. I would love that scenario. I think for me, you haven't seen a lot from the kicking game. You haven't seen a lot from the special teams. And I think this is a game where they're going to score their touchdowns. They're going to have some explosives. But the difference is going to be the offense is going to be able to do just enough. And they're going to be in a situation where they're going to have the football with a chance to win late, just like the divisional round. But this time, they're going to set up Joshua Cardi for a Cardi party, and the Rams win 26-24 walk-off field goal style, and to go to 3-0. So they don't.
Wow,
that's where I'm at.
I love it. I love it. Again, you guys are all descriptive. I can tell that you guys have been going to bed every night. You've been having dreams. You've been seeing things happening on the field, and then you're coming onto the show and saying, this is what I saw happen. This is what I saw happen. I love it. I love it. Now, me on the flip side, I have been waking up every day with a different vibe on how this game is going to go. I'm not even going to lie. As I'm speaking right now, at this exact moment, I still don't know who I'm taking in this game. I don't. And I'm in an impossible position. And you guys know I'm in an impossible position because now this narrative's been created that I am anti-Ram or something, that I'm a doubter. So look at the scenarios that we have. Either I pick the Rams to win and people say I folded. They say I don't have morals. They say I'm not true to what I actually believe. That this isn't the Rams Keep It 100 podcast. This is a bunch of homers, a bunch of cappers, right? But on the flip side, if I pick the Eagles, I'm a hater. I'm Debbie Downer. I'm not even a fan. You live in the Bay Area. You're not even a Rams fan. You're secretly a Niners fan. I'm going to get all that. And then if I pick the Eagles and the Rams win, oh man, the flames that are going to be in the comment section, I'm going to get added on Twitter. I'm going to have people DMing me. I've already got enough people DMing me saying, bro, you were pro Deshaun Foster, talking UCLA. I've got enough on the Twitter. So what do I do? Guess what? I have to go with what I truly think is going to happen in my heart. And what I truly think is going to happen is that the Rams are going to come out as a team who struggled in first halves often. And they're going to show that this is the 2025 Rams. We don't struggle on opening drives anymore. Maybe we've been playing closer games than we should be, but this Rams team actually scored a touchdown on the opening drive. That never happens, right? This is a new Rams team in 2025. And at Lincoln, with the fans going crazy, the Rams are going to score the first points of this ball game. They're going to take a lead. They're going to go up 7-0. You're going to see A.J. Brown maybe not get a target or two. You're going to hear the boo birds. The Rams are going to have an advantage going into halftime. And that's going to be the difference. That's going to be the difference, that the Rams are actually going to take the lead in a half. And when the Rams have the lead, they can rely on the run game. They can rely on Kyron. They can rely on Blake Corum, whereas the Eagles won't get to rely on their run game in a deficit. And despite all of that, I've got the Eagles coming back and winning this game at the
end. Oh, I love it. I can't wait for the comments.
I'm sorry. And now notice how I just went on that whole ramble, that whole, I don't even know what you would call it at the beginning, the whole monologue on how I'm already scared to pick the Eagles. And then I just made it 10 times worse on myself by pulling a gotcha at the end there. But hey, this is content. This is the Ram Squad show. And the truth is,
you might as well sing "Fly Eagles Fly." You might as well sing "Fly Eagles Fly" for the one time for the people.
Oh God! Oh God! See,
I will say, as someone who has Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Saquon on their fantasy team, it's a win-win for me, baby.
Oh, see now there better be some Rams fans that cook him in the comments for that. I got Jalen Hurts on 2 of my 3 teams.
No, I want them to let's win 51-50. No, it's gonna be a great game. It really is. But look, here's my rule. I'm only gonna pick against the Rams to lose. They have to lose one game first. That's where I'm at, because we saw it happen in 2021, going 8-0. Before I get that first loss, then I'll come down to earth, right? I'll take off the Rams colored glasses, and then I'll be a little more real. But you got their chances, but you could pull the ultimate hedge and say, "Oh, I wouldn't be shocked if they lost," right?
That's what they say. That's what they always do. They say, "I'm going to pick this team, but hey, I wouldn't be shocked at all." Yeah, I love it. Yeah, you're so right. Meanwhile, I did the opposite, and I took this fire that was already being created, and I poured a bunch of gasoline on it, and now I'm going to have all these Rams fans pissed off at me until Sunday. If the Rams lose, they're going to blame it on me. If the Rams win, they're going to blame it on me. So I really set myself up here. But in all seriousness, these are 2 amazing football teams. It's going to be a close game. I actually think it's going to be, and I previewed this in the first couple of shows, you see the game in the snow. You see that these are 2 teams that maybe are a little methodical and like to run the ball a lot. And you're going to think, you think it's going to be kind of a gross game. I actually think both teams are going to cook. I really do. I think there's going to be some A.J. Brown force feeding, and I think it's going to lead to some big plays. There's going to be some Devontae Adams. Let's keep feeding him like we did that drive where they threw it to him 3 times in the end zone. They're going to keep doing that. I actually think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I've got the Eagles winning this one 31-28, a surprise bar burner in week 3. That's what I've got. So we're going to wrap this one up. Fun edition of the Mob Squad Ram Squad show. Come at me. I'm ready for it. I'm built for it. Tweet me, comment section, hit me up with all that if the Rams win. And the thing is, I will be more than happy if they do. I will be. So can't wait for this game. As always, we will be live directly after the game. I love it. We got a little behind the scenes of D-Mac doing parkour. I love it. That's how you know that we are locked in. He looks like, are you going to get a 3-point stance for us right now, D-Mac? Are you going to go face-to-face with Brock right now?
D-Mac doing it all right now, bro.
I love it. And then the dramatic pan to his face. Oh, this was fun. But we're going to wrap this one up. Shout out to you guys as always. Like, comment, all that good stuff. And we'll see you back here on Sunday. Despite the accusations, it's LA all the way. All right. All the way. We'll see you guys on Sunday. Hey, no Fly Eagles Fly here. Whose house? Rams house. Whose squad? Mob Squad. The Ram Squad show. Signing off. Take care, everybody. And have a great Sunday watching our Rams. Take care.